afternoon, I just decided to go there. You know, because I told BDELL, listen, fam, I talked to last time I talked to BDELL, I get inspired by everybody. BDELL stressed to me the importance of him working out his avatar. And we was just talking. We was like, yo, what's good with you? We like, yo, what's good with you? How you doing on your end of the earth? BDELL's like, yo, I'm working on my avatar, you know, da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, I got to work on that. I'm like, yo, BDELL, that's something that I'm, you know, I got to work on and step my game up on. So I've been doing that more, BDELL, working on my avatar, letting my blood circulate, you know, getting the oxygen in all my cells. And I'm like, you know, I'm gonna hit Stone Mountain at least once a week. And I went there yesterday and it felt good. So shout out to everybody who lives next to something like that, a park or a mountain. Make sure y'all hit those up, y'all. Make sure y'all hit those up. It's very important that we connect back with nature. Let's get
I want to tell some. I want to reiterate this again, so it's very imperative that people understand that if you do not just stay in the house during the solar eclipse, like I said, go to a mound, go to those a pyramid structure, go to these ancient structures where our ancestors, you know, had the land. We were connected to the land at that point in time. Go to those ancient structures to where you can receive these ancestral energies. That's important.
Oh yeah, indeed. Let's get to a super chat. What about the we just talked. What about? Well, I gotta ask this because it's a super chat question. What about the solar eclipse coming in April? Is it going to affect anything like this solar flare? I don't even get the question. Is it going to affect? Oh, is it going to affect things like this solar flare? Yeah. Will it knock something out? You know,
are we? No, it's basically going to activate a certain energy in that certain area. Okay. That's what's going to happen.
Okay. Definitely. Somebody said, Rich, you been to Indian Springs yet? No, I have to go there. Red Pill was telling me about it. I definitely have to go there, and I plan on going there. So thanks for reminding me. I will definitely get there sometime this year. Let's get to another question from the BDELL. They want you to explain the soul trap. What is the soul trap, BDELL?
A soul trap. So now, when you understand the Saturn Moon Matrix, everything as far as the material plane works in conjunction with the moon. The moon is an interstellar vortex portal for reincarnation. So that's why the great majority of monotheistic religion, MON, is connected to the energy of MOON, the moon. So as far as religion, it all works on the Sabbath. So religion is actually a form of spiritual entrapment because it keeps you subjugated and entrapped of a spiritual box. Because that's when you open up a cube, it becomes a crucifix. Then you got the Star of David, and then you got the Kaaba and Mecca. All these is different forms of spiritual entrapment to subjugate you from a spiritual level to where you're not tapping into your intrinsic abilities on a spiritual level. So also having an emotional attachment to everything in the material plane is a form of a soul trap. Because like I said, when you're going through a process of reincarnation, if you had a veneration for cheeseburgers, right? So when they're going to create that holographic projection, when it's time for you to go in that white light, that's another way to bring you right back here. So like I said, you got to use your emotions as a navigation system in order to deviate from this matrix system. That's how you do it. You got to be balanced.
Indeed. I'm glad you said it like that, my brother. Let's get to one last question, then we're gonna get out of here, family.
It makes me understand why those when we were talking about altars, that's why those certain spirits keep coming back. You know, I know this one girl, she puts tea down, for her grandmother, you know what I'm saying? And it's one of those things where anything that's inanimate objects, it makes you come back to this realm. You don't want to have an emotional connection. You want to get away from this realm. You want to deviate from it.
Oh wow. All right, BDELL, last question. This from the sister Leah again. Shout out to Leah. Very active in the chat, supporting everything. I
thought she be supporting my channel too.
Yes, okay. Yeah, that's what's up. So okay. So she for real. Leah wants to know, can you ask BDELL, what about single moms who work and homeschool? How do you suggest they prepare for the shift, BDELL? There's a lot of sisters in this situation, BDELL. What's your advice?
It's one of those things where now, since we're at the apex of, the matriarch, you need a man, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things, like, I forgot what verse it said in the Bible. It says that a lot of women are going to cling on to one man or something like that, 4 women to 1 man. But it's one of those things where you would need a divine masculine in order to, you know, to balance that energy out. Because it's one of those things where you can't look at this Great Awakening period in a form of individualism. You know what I'm saying? You need that counterpart, because just like in the movie Matrix, in order for Neo to get to the next level and escape the Matrix, he needed that divine feminine. Just like in the last Matrix movie that came out, he was able to escape because he had that divine feminine counterpart for him to get to the next level. So the same thing actually takes place with single women. So you need both energies, because the divine feminine and the divine masculine, that creates a tetrahedron energy, and that tetrahedron energy is the same energy to where you escape the Matrix system. So you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where you need that counterpart in order to, you know what I'm saying, to where you can tap into the ability of being the best version of yourself, so you can be the best version for your children.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, what a show, y'all. What a show, what a show, what a show. We still got about 3,400 people in the building. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I'm glad I got an opportunity to get to a lot of your questions. I asked questions I want to ask, but I got to y'all's. That's important, because I know this is an important event and things going on in the future. I want everybody to know how to maneuver, what to do. I guess the last thing I would ask BDELL before we get out of here, any recommendation about, everybody's diet is different, everybody's blood type is different. In terms of any recommendations you would give on a diet, not just be a vegan, but any recommendations on a particular diet to get some of these sun rays that's coming in, these downloads or anything like that. What do you think is most beneficial to us at this time, BDELL?
Okay. As I was telling you before, use your emotions as a navigation system,
Right.
Meaning that create a reward system for yourself. Don't cut certain things off cold turkey. Like I said, if you still eat certain things that's basically diabolical to your anatomy, you know what I'm saying? Try juicing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, for the next 3 days, I'm just going to be just drinking juices. That's what I'm doing. Fast every once in a while, to where you get away from the emotional attachment of food, to where it puts you in a state of discipline. So it's one of those things where, like I said, if you don't have the mental fortitude and the spiritual fortitude to get away from certain foods or whatever, just try fasting. Fast for 2 days, just a water fast.
Right.
That might work for you. But for those who really take their diet seriously or whatever, you know, eat fruits and vegetables, you know what I'm saying? Keep doing what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Building up your immune system and building up your anatomy to where you can take in these frequencies. Because it's going to come a point in time where the environment is going to become so chaotic is where you're going to have to perform ultra fast internal conversion, meaning that you're going to have to be operating from a place where you're not going to be able to eat food all the time, to where you're just going to have to be eating from the energies within the ethers. So like I said, that's why I'm trying to prepare my body for. I'm trying to go, you know what I'm saying, see if I can go for a week without no food, just juice.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta put yourself in alignment to that, to where, sometimes you gotta make yourself suffer in the form of a sacrifice. You gotta sacrifice the anatomy to tap into your higher self.
Indeed. Yeah, you know what helps me transition away from food and just not pay attention to it. I got to give a special shout out real quick, family, to the brother KT, the arts degree. I truly feel, I don't know if you ever tried his products, but the brother truly has some of the best products on planet Earth.
I got that gold stuff he got.
Okay, excellent. The brother, that's a blue pill, I think. The gold, the liquid gold.
I thought KT, he has his own version too.
No. That's blue pill right there. That's blue pill with the.
Okay.
KT got
I got it like last year.
Yeah. Okay. KT got the honey and the sea moss and the phytoplankton and shit like that.
Okay.
KT got some amazing products, y'all. Amazing. So shout out to the brother KT. He has been helping me with my diet a lot lately. I did the fast. We did the fast with the brother in January. My diet has been on point since then, y'all. So I've been feeling a little more alive and vibrant as a result of that. And I want to thank the brother for helping me get my diet. Sometimes I slip up, because of my lifestyle. I'm moving around so fast. So shout out to KT for helping me keep focused with my diet. With that being said, hey, BDELL, amazing, wonderful show. Packed house, 3,400 people still up in here. Tell the people your contact info so they can check out your YouTube, Instagram, and everything else you got going on.
Okay, my page on my YouTube is BDELL1014, BDELL1014. That same nomenclature title is on Instagram, BDELL1014. And you can also find me on Facebook, where I do a lot of self-help. You just, really just good quotes and everything that helps raise up the vibrational consciousness of the planet on Brado Rice Bay on Facebook. So that's where you can find me. I got another video coming out talking about the big event, the Luciferian Great Reset. I'm breaking that down, and that's coming out Sunday on my YouTube channel.
Indeed, indeed. Somebody said, how do you get past insecurity at Black? You have to elaborate on that, and ask that the next show I do when I do a Q&A, because I think that's something that a lot of people got to touch on, insecurities, but I don't know exactly what you're talking about, and we're about to get out of here right now. Hey, listen, thank you to everybody for tuning in. I just can't say enough how much of a wonderful show this is tonight. With that being said, BDELL, I'm gonna talk to you soon, my brother. Keep up the amazing work that you're doing, brother. Like I said, Yaki mentioned you. I went to your page and I felt the confidence in your words. You was like, I'm gonna be on his show one day. Like, you ain't know me from nothing. I know you, but I'm like, oh, this young brother's confident. And I just got drawn right back to you months later. And I was like, ain't this the dude from earlier, from a couple of months ago? And I was like, that is the dude. So, brother, keep doing your thing. When you vibrate on a certain frequency, nothing can deny you, family. People will be forced. I gotta. Before we start, brother, listen, fam. King Simon, man, I'm gonna start to add tomorrow, King Simon. I forgot about it. But tomorrow I definitely will start it. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run it by itself also. I'm gonna look out for you, King Simon. But my fault. I forgot to put it on before the show, my brother. But BDELL, before we start, tell the people and tell me a little bit about yourself before we got an amazing topic. Everybody can't wait to hear about Grand Canyon, Crystal City, and the return of Plutonian energy. And this is something I heard you talk about, so I said I got to bring it to my channel. But tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started, my brother.
Well, on my YouTube channel, I talk about a lot about metaphysics, quantum physics. I talk about extraterrestrials, and I merge it in with theological context to where people can understand it at a biblical level, because I know the vast majority of our people, they're really stuck in monotheistic belief systems. So I talk about many different dynamics of esoteric knowledge on my channel.
Are you Nuwabian?
No.
Okay. Because I see you reference a lot of their material. Dr. So Dr. York was just an influence.
Yes,
like,
sir.
Like the brother Rod Hayes. Yeah. Okay, cool. So listen, brother. So you had a video that really interested me, and you was talking about the Grand Canyon, and I've heard so much about it. I mean, I've heard so much about that place being a very spiritual place, and there's so much history that's hidden about it from us. And in fact, it's hard to even go there and go to certain places within the Grand Canyon because it's blocked off. So could you reiterate, what was you saying on your channel about the Grand Canyon, and what should we know moving into 2023 that you was talking about with the Grand Canyon, my brother?
Well, the Grand Canyon is also in alignment with the Milky Way galaxy. And the Grand Canyon also contains interstellar vortex portals, because it's basically an energy center, and meaning that it's the navel of the planet, right? So it also gives you the ability to take you to many different subterranean geographical landmasses, like the city of Shambhala, means synth of Allah, and then you have Argartha. When you break down the etymology, it means through the hole, and then you have the Rainbow City, which is a nomenclature title for the Crystal City. So the reason you have that type of vibration inside the Grand Canyon is because the Grand Canyon has a fourth dimensional tetrahedron frequency, and that frequency, like I said, it's an energy center. So, but the Grand Canyon, that was the inception point of when you had the planet. It was in a state of revitalization due to the extraction of plutonium bombs that broke the planet in half. So then when you get a transliteration of the Sumerian tablets, it tells you verbatim that Enlil slain Tiamat. Tiamat is another name for planet Earth, right? So that's where you get this whole theological concept of when Satan separated the intergalactic waters from the third dimension to where you have an atmosphere now. So once the planet broke off, right, that's when the Nibiru, the mothership, they projected a light ball of energy, a 600-mile diameter sun inside the planet, which is basically the inception point of where the Grand Canyon started to take place. So that in itself created this phenomenon and this anomaly of the Aurora Borealis. That energy is coming from the frequencies in the solar radiation from inside the planet that is activated by cymatic frequency and Etherian gases.
Wow, that was a lot. That was a lot, brother. Wow. Okay. Wow. So tell me more about this crystal city, this rainbow city.
Well, the crystal city, when you understand that not just at a theological level, but at a biological level and at a neurological level, we are microcosm of the macrocosm through the law of
Yes.
correspondence. So
Yeah.
as above, so below, as within, so without. So the crystal city, we are basically emulations of it, right? So as the planet is speeding up in vibration, right? When the planet speeds up in vibration, that speeds up the carbon because the carbon body is a bioelectric entity. It's an electromagnetic generator and a light code transducer where it transmutes the carbon body into a crystalline state, which puts the 7 energy cortexes, the chakras, in the endocrine system in alignment that sends a piezoelectric frequency to the 144,000 crystals in the brain called the magnetites and the dendrites, which creates more neurons in the brain. And when you have more neurons in the brain created, that ties the frequency of the soul and the mind together to where you become a whole brain thinker. So this is how you tap into the energetic imprint of the universe. When you activate your Akashic records, when you activate the junk DNA, when you're activating all the guard particles within you, the metaphysical genes that they took away from you since birth. Because when we go to these the places where we're born at, get your channel flag with certain words. But when we go, they inject PCP inside the hippocampus layer of the brain, which causes a lunar light lock energy. And that lunar light lock energy creates nanogenetic mind control to where you don't reap the benefits of your metaphysical abilities that's conducive to your neurological capacity. So like I said, you also have a crystal city inside the planet, but we are emulations of the crystal city. So when you understand the numerical spectrum of the year 2023, when you add up all the numbers, you get 7. 7 is the personification of evolution and ascension, but our ascension process is predicated upon genetic mutation, because we're supposed to be raising in frequency with the planet as the planet is going through a terraforming process. So we are the crystal city, but you also have a crystal city inside the planet as well. That's where the Galactic Federation has all their meetings and stuff.
Have you ever done any astral traveling and been to these places?
No, I've never. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've never did any type of astral traveling. I only had I had an encounter about 6 years ago, but not with an actual like being. But it was just when I was in a theta state when I was asleep, and I had like a metaphysical encounter.
Okay. Yeah. So, on Instagram and TikTok, we got all these videos going around connecting the Grand Canyon to ancient Egypt or Kemet. And they're saying that's actually carvings of pharaohs over there that they don't allow us to see. So talk to me about the connection between the Grand Canyon and Kemet.
Well, the Smithsonian's in I think it was 1909, they found many different Kemetic artifacts and Egyptian relics inside the Grand Canyon. So that was that basically predates the discovery of King Tut's tomb, right? Which they found that in 1922. So everything that they found inside the Grand Canyon, they took that information in those artifacts and they brought it over to Egypt. So they did that basically. It was like a bait and switch type of operation, because they want to keep you from the fact that the geographical landmass of America is the true old world, and it predates everything as far as the Giza Plateau, because you have the Cheops pyramid and the Temple of Shiva, and you have the Temple of Isis inside the Grand Canyon. So, well, like I said, they did a bait and switch. They took all the the artifacts, the Kemetic artifacts from Egypt, no, from the Grand Canyon, and they brought it over to Egypt. And when they found King Tut's tomb inside in 1922, they found it, but the seals was broken off already. So like I said, they try to hide the history by keeping you thinking you came from Africa when everything in this geographical landmass predates everything in the Giza Plateau. So you also got to understand that the Mayans that got the vast majority of their edification and their civilization from the Olmecs. And the Olmecs taught the Mayans, and the Mayans taught the Egyptians. So that's how you know that the Olmecs, the ones who taught them how to build mounds and pyramids, they're basically the mothers of civilization. Everything started in Mesoamerica.
Now, you know, I've been hearing more and more people say that recently. Like a lot of people, you, the brother Rod Hayes, a lot of people have been saying that recently. And I know a lot of people are shocked to hear that, because there was once a Kemet movement where everything was Kemet, but now a lot of people are talking about the brilliance and the spirituality that America possessed as well. You know what I'm saying? What other gods? I mean, any other gods have a presence in the Grand Canyon that you could tell me about? Like, I hear Tahuti mentioned a lot in the West. Is there anything else that ties Kemet and the gods from Kemet to the Grand Canyon?
I know. I know for a fact, because this is America. This geographical area is the land of Tahuti. So I know they had a lot of Buddhist artifacts inside there as well. So, but I never really got a deep dive into the gods and everything.
Didn't Rashad Jamal say the Grand Canyon was the back door to Africa or something?
Yeah, it's definitely an interstellar vortex portal, because you know a lot of the pyramids are actually portals to many different energy centers. Because I told you it's in alignment with the Milky Way galaxy, so everything on the planet has a symbiotic connection, because the pyramids were basically frequency centers. So that's why you know he came up with that philosophy and that ideology.
Interstellar vortexes. Is there any? Where else would there be an interstellar vortex like similar to the Grand Canyon in America? Would you say?
Well, you have the great majority of all the caverns on the planet where I live is like 1 hour and 30 minutes away from Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. But the great majority of these cave systems, they turn it into historical landmarks because they know that there's energy portals there. So, like I said, you know, this is why they create this dynamic of gender wars on the planet when you're talking about Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, because they know that the unification of the divine feminine and the divine masculine working in synergy with nature, we have the ability to open up stargates and portals on this planet. So that's why they don't want us to see, you know, at a micro level, they don't want to see us together.
Right.
So those are basically the keys to the universe, the 3, 6, and the 9, when you understand the esoteric science of vortex math. Because 3, 6, and 9 are not physical numbers. They govern the physical world through quantum physics, which is also connected to my science technology.
So when you get, brother, good.
So that's why I was saying, like, it's all based upon the anatomy of, you know, the carbonated body in crystallization.
Indeed. Now, you know, people talk a lot about the union between the divine masculine and feminine, and you talked about how it could open up these portals. So just to get this straight, so let's say carbonated being divine masculine and feminine vibrating and vibrating that love frequency in a completely opposite side of the planet has an impact on the Grand Canyon and the portal there and portals all over. Like, it's non-local, it could impact any portal on this planet.
It has the ability to, because right now you have the planet going back into its original balance because it was subjugated by patriarchal patrilineal energy, which threw off the frequency of the planet. So everything conducive to nature is under a matriarchal system. Everything that was galvanized by mankind, which threw off the spiritual equilibrium of the planet, is galvanized by patriarchy. So when the planet is back in balance, this is how you're able to open up all these energy centers and these stargates and these portals, because you have a fourth dimensional energy that's hitting the stratosphere and hitting the planet, and it's raising up the vibrational frequency. So that's why you have the Shomer resonance, which sits at 7.83 megahertz frequency. When you have a pole shift and you have an open vortex, that sends a Shomer resonance spike at 13.13 megahertz frequency. And then when you understand Vedic numerology, 13 is also a karmic number. And the karmic number is connected to the divine feminine energy taking back the planet, because everything that was created by mankind decimated everything in nature, but the laws of nature supersedes the laws of mankind.
When would you say this patriarchal energy took over the planet? Like, was it the dynastic period in Egypt? Was it after that, before that? When would you say it started destroying the divine feminine energy on the planet?
When you had as soon as you got monotheistic belief system connected to our system. So all that energy was galvanized by the 6,000 year verification period of the lunar light lock energy, which puts us under a sleep spell. And that sleep spell is the religious system under the lunar cycle. So this is why when I was talking about the plutonium energy, so when you have Pluto enters Aquarius in March 23rd. So when Pluto enters Aquarius, you also have the Saturnian energy copulating with the Pisces energy, right? So that fourth dimensional energy that's coming in, that's going to be the energy that decimates everything in the three-dimensional world. So this is basically the unification of connecting to the space-time continuum as you leave the three-dimensional metric system, which represents Pisces and Saturn, as you ascend into the age of Aquarius, which is the golden age. So also, like I said, you get the merging of numbers in 3 and 4, going from a three-dimensional frequency to a fourth dimensional frequency. You also have the symbology of 7, because everything on the planet must evolve.
Was Pluto playing a role when the Grand Canyon first was, that
was the extraction of plutonium bombs. The plutonium bomb is what broke the planet in half. So because during that time, that's when we had Earth and the moon working in symbiotic connection. So now the moon that we have in our solar system is actually a draconian mothership that is operated by the majestic 12, who is an amalgamation of the Pleiadians, reptilians, and grays that controls everything on frequency vibration on a binary code system on the dark side of the moon.
So you don't do any moon magic or stuff? You know how people do like rituals during the full moon, new moon? You don't do?
There's nothing wrong with doing moon magic, because it teaches you how to manifest everything in the material world, but not on a spiritual level.
Okay. Wow, that's
the moon is what connects. The moon is also, a representation of the physical world, which is the square, and circle is a representation of the spiritual world, which also equates to 360 degrees, because they both can work on 2 different dimensional planes, a square and a circle. So you can both you can use it, but it's just based upon the energy of it.
Indeed. What was our original moon? What could you tell us a little bit about our original moon?
The original moon was connected to planet Earth. So like I said, that's when I was saying that when Satan, who was Enlil, he separated the intergalactic waters from the 3rd dimension, that threw the planet out of balance. So when the planet was thrown out of balance, this is how you have the infiltration of draconians and reptilians and Pleiadians and grays and things of that nature. But the moon used to work in symbiotic connection with our planet. The extraction of the plutonium bombs broke it off, and it happened about 23 billion years ago. And you can get that information about in the transliteration of the Sumerian tablets.
23 billion years ago, this was going down. Wow. And these were plutonian bombs, correct? This is what you're saying, the plutonian bomb.
There's an esoteric science, because the Mickey Mouse cartoon. Who is the personification of the dog? It's Pluto, and Pluto is the
in the cartoon.
Dog is an anagram for the word God. So like I said, there's a lot of esoteric information in these cartoons and these movies. Because like I told the people on my channel, the CIA has an office in Hollywood, and Hollywood has an office in the CIA. So it's universal law that they got to give you the truth in these movies, in these cartoons, but you have to have the mental and fortitude to decipher the information.
Wow, brother, you on it, man. You done said so much in these first 20 minutes, man. You on it, man. Once again, family, I'm live. New brother on the channel. The brother's name is BDELL. BDELL1014 or just BDELL? Just call you BDELL?
BDELL1014. That's my title my nomenclature title on my my Instagram, my YouTube, and I go by Bridal Rice Bay on Facebook. Yeah.
So, all right, let's get back to this Plutonian energy that's coming in Aquarius in March of this year. What can we look forward to starting from March to the rest of the year with this Pluto energy coming back?
With the plutonium energy coming back, this is basically going to be the symbology of the end of the three-dimensional paradigm as we know it, because the 2023 to 2030 is the inception period of the 7-year tribulation. So when you have that 7-year tribulation, we're going to see a lot more calamity. You're going to see a lot more desolation on the planet. And the reason that is because you have many different esoteric information as far as like the queen, she just died. She is a representation of the financial sector of the matrix system of the three-dimensional paradigm. Then you had the Pope who just died, which is the symbology of the fall of monotheistic religion, which galvanizes us under the straw man that connects us to the Euphostruct system. So then you also have the corporate legal fiction of the de facto corporation, Washington, D.C. They are the ones who control the military. So Joe Biden is not really the president. He's really the agent of service for White House Incorporated. So that's why on March 4th, right before we have that open vortex, they're going to announce the 19th president of the republic, because like I said, a republic is galvanized by a matrilineal system, because inception, it started with matriarchy. So you have a transmutation of power. So that's what Pluto, when you read the esoteric information about Pluto, it talks about a transmutation of power, because democracy is demonic rulership. And it connects you to the illusion of the three-dimensional matrix system. Because like I told you, we are leaving out of the lunar cycle, and everything in the lunar cycle was galvanized by a Saturnian energy, right? So that's why, you know, I forgot his name. His name is Alkebalon 44.
Alkebalon 44. Yeah.
Like, you know, they put the 1 in front of the 7 because 1 is the enemy of 7. Because when you have Pluto in Aquarius, that represents evolution. Number 7, you put the 1 in front of the 7, 1 plus 7 equals 8. 8 is the Saturnian energy. 8 is the metaverse symbol, which keeps you stuck in an artificial time loop, which connects back into the matrix system. So they know that the evolution of the planet is conducive to who we are, because as above, so below. So they want to stop, you know, everybody from evolving. So this is why they're trying to introduce a new form of a shutdown. And they said that's going to happen by 2025. Bill Gates put out a publication about that not too long ago.
So, you know, I always hear so much about Saturn. Some people are scared to hell of Saturn. Some people say Saturn is misunderstood. Talk to me about I always ask people about Saturn. I heard it used to be the central sun, but talk to me about the ancient role of Saturn in the carbon body. Like, what's the connection, the ancient role of Saturn in the carbon body?
Well, Saturn, well, I do know for a fact that Saturn is used, well, from a matrix system. Saturn is used from a point for reincarnation also.
Okay.
So it connects you back into the better simulation of reality. So there's a delineation between a non-ether being and a 6th ether being. So a lot of people who are conducive to the matrix system through nanogenetic mind control, this is why they put a lot of nanotechnology inside of the genetically modified foods, and when you go to the hospitals and stuff like that, they put all this nanotechnology inside of it because it's the lunar light lock energy, right? It's a Pleiadian light lock, and that connects you back into the matrix in the form of reincarnation. So when you die on this planet, your soul and your spirit is usurped into a gas planet, right? And they usurp that energy into a supercomputer and project it back down on the planet. So now you have computer generated souls and spirits on this planet who are basically Agent Smiths of the matrix system. So this is why I say a lot of people on the planet are not chosen, so to speak, because everybody is operating from a psychological egregore, meaning that they're basically emulations of them, emulations of each other. because just at a mental frequency, because you got some people who have a veneration for politics, you got some people who have a veneration for religion, you got some people who have a veneration for everything in the material world. Yeah, they have a veneration for money. So like I said, all of that is conducive to the Saturn moon matrix system. So now, as far as being the carbonated energy, now who we are as carbonated people, that is Saturn is also the symbology of the word of the numerical spectrum of 666, but people demonize 666 when you talking about the Bible, but it's really talking about the carbonated man and woman, 6 electrons, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, because our awakening is the antichrist of their matrix system. That awakening starts when you have that open vortex in March, or some say it's March, some say it's August.
So what's this? When you was talking about reincarnation, you mentioned the supercomputer. What's the supercomputer that recycles the body back into this matrix?
I know that it's a supercomputer on the dark side of the moon, and it's basically operated on binary code systems. And the binary code system creates this dualistic principles to where you stuck on polarity, because duality is not reality. Just like for example, you got rich, you got poor, you got positive, you got negative, but all those are basically illusions. Basically, the best way to beat the matrix system is to operate from 0 point energy to where you cannot be compromised by anything that's based on polarity. That's why I say everything in the matrix system is conducive to the material world, and the material world is what controls your emotions. And where your emotions is controlled by the material world, that puts you in a state of evolution. I mean, not evolution, but puts you in a state to be acclimated to the illusions of the three-dimensional matrix system.
What would you describe as operating in a 0 point energy that you just mentioned, and not dealing with polarity?
Operating in 0 point energy is to be content. You can be content while being in the state of evolution. Like I can buy a new car, you know, and be okay with it for, you know, I don't need another car next year. So like I said, people get a brand new car and they see another car and they want a new car, you know, what you buy, you know what I'm saying, it's going to eventually get old. That's an illusion. It's all about being content with what you got while being in a state of evolution, because like I said, that's what the matrix does. It puts you in a state to where you operating on a dualistic principle, and the dualistic principle of the matrix system is the illusion.
You know, we see a lot of these monuments have a direct correlation with the Sirius star constellation. A lot of the pyramids, from whether it's the Western Hemisphere or the Eastern Hemisphere, Africa, or you know, places in the Americas. What star? What is the Grand Canyon connected to? Is it connected to a certain constellation? What was this ancient connection?
I know it's in alignment with the Milky Way galaxy, which
you said that, you said that
in alignment with the Milky Way galaxy, because I think that's the Milky Way is the Earth zone. So, and it's also a portal to, like I said, created this dynamic and this phenomenon of the Aurora Borealis. We also connected to that because the cymatic frequency and the octave energy of the solar flares from the inner sun is what created that phenomenon in itself of the Aurora Borealis. But the Grand Canyon is definitely in alignment with the Milky Way galaxy.
So where's this inner sun? You said the solar flare is not from the sun out there, but you said from the inner sun.
No, it was projected from Nibiru.
Nibiru, okay.
Yeah, it's a sun called Asfu, which means soul of the earth. And that 600-mile diameter sun, it just sits in the middle. It's intrinsic solar radiation. So that's why you ever seen the movie, the Avatar movie?
Yeah.
So the new one, that's why, you know, you had a certain demographic of people, they had to wear a face mask to withstand the hydrogen based atmosphere. So that's what's happening on our planet right now as we're going from a 3-dimensional state to a 4th-dimensional state. So that's why you see a great majority of these athletes collapsing and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying?
A lot of people, newscasters, a lot of people just collapsing out of nowhere.
Yeah, because that's the vibrational frequency, because the Shoma resonance, which vibrates 7.83 megahertz frequency, is the heartbeat of the planet. Right. So when your heart is not working in symbiotic connection with the planet, it can cause it it can decimate you at a biological level and at a neurological level as well.
So you're saying we're gonna start seeing more of that?
Oh
People
yeah, this is just a synopsis of everything that's going on. So the more it gets hot on this planet, you're gonna see a lot more of people collapsing, a lot of people having a lot more heart attacks and things of that nature.
So what do you think about so much cosmic talk and planetary talk and moon talk? What's your thoughts on this whole flat Earth versus round Earth argument that everybody seems to have on the internet?
Well, I never really got into the flat Earth dynamic, but I know that as far as like hollow Earth, I know that the inception of a planet, you have many different caverns and cave systems that leads you to hollow Earth. And the reason I say that is because that's where you get the whole theological story of Yakub, and that's where that's where his bloodline, who is the Shiuk and the Danakil tribe, they came from inside the planet. So that flat Earth basically decimates a whole story of how everybody was created on this planet, for a certain demographic of people or a certain bloodline. When you're talking about the Canaanites and the Flugarites, and when you're talking about the East Indians and how everything started with genetic splicing in 4086 BC on the island of Patmos or Pelon. So that whole story would be decimated if you just go with the flat Earth theory, because like I said, the inception of how you had many different demographics of people on this planet, a great majority of those beings that came from inside the planet, because intelligent life doesn't live on the surface, it lives inside. So you had another extraterrestrial race, the Conehead beings, called the Sini tribe. You got the Sinis, that's where they got that in the movies, the movie.
Yeah,
that's where they got that from.
Where was this race from? The Semi or
the Sini tribe? They live inside the planet. That's his mom, Yakub's mother. She was from the Sini tribe, and Yakub's father was from the Danakil tribe, who is the Shiuk. Yeah,
so that's why they call him the big head scientist.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. So do you think these inner Earth beings are going to come up to the surface more and more? What you said from 2023 to 2030, you said you gave it a name, from 2023 to 2030. Are we going to start seeing more of these conehead beings or whoever it is that live in the inner Earth?
It's a possibility. I mean, I don't like to get into the whole mysticism or whatever, but I mean, there's a reason why we're seeing a lot more UFO phenomenon in our atmosphere. Yeah. Like everybody, you go on the internet, it's a great majority of people showing, UFOs, and there was a lady that I had on my I showed a video, and she seen the mothership in the atmosphere, and that's the reason why the vibrational frequency of the planet is going back into its original balance, because like I said, the mothership has the ability to send cymatic energy and frequencies to raise up the vibrational frequency of the planet to where you have certain people on the planet to bring about this edification. So this is why this is your personification of the Great Awakening. This is why you have 1/3 of people in America not going to church anymore. They just put that out in the news not too long ago.
Wow. So with these, you talk about seeing the mothership. Like the other day, I played a clip. This sister was on my show, Isis Wisdom, and an orb went over her head, and I played it, and a lot of people couldn't see it. And I played it like 5 times, and some people seen it, some people didn't see it. Why do you think certain people could see orbs or see things and certain people can't see them?
That's because, when you stuck in a artificial construct, that creates a mental curse under a sleep spell, because you still have people, even though they're trying to ascend out of a 3-dimensional state, they still might be acclimated to a 3-dimensional state. So this is why you only have people can see 10% of the electromagnetic spectrum. So you can't see energy, frequencies, and vibration, because everything is been subjugated by a 3-dimensional matrix system to where you can only see things with your 2 physical eyes, polarity, and not your spiritual eye.
No, indeed. What can you tell me about our sun right now? Like, How old is our sun now? Because you know, you was talking about this moon that we got now is not the moon that we had before. What about our sun? How old would you say our sun, and is this our original sun that we had on the planet?
Well, I know that thought, thought, which is the personification of ether. Ether, thought is what created this dynamical process of having a sun in our atmosphere, because light travels at 186,000 miles per square feet. So when you have these thoughts, when light breaks into a dimension, it can reverse the polarity of time and things of that nature. So intrinsic thoughts is what created the manifestation of the sun. So I really don't know how old the sun is. I'm not gonna lie, but
But you said our thoughts created the sun.
everything. Thoughts become things. The ethers is what the ethers through atomic fusion is what created the sun.
That's very interesting. Now, what about, I seen somebody in the chat talked about, and this is something people are reporting more and more, ringing in the ears. What can you tell us about ringing in the ears? Is that some form of communication at this point?
Yeah, it means that you're supposed to be in alignment for reception. So when I hear ringing in the ears, that is, I call it a trumpet. Those are cymatic frequencies, and you're supposed to be in alignment and put yourself in a meditative state, so where you can be receptive to that energy and that vibration, to where you never know, that's like a wink from the universe. Like when you see synchronicities and numbers, and when you see hear the ringing of the ears and things of that nature, those are basically winks from the universe, to where you can tap into that energy and get a download. Something from the universe and the ethers that's trying to make you communicate with something.
Indeed. What are some ways, since we're talking about ringing in the ears, what are some ways you think people could tap in to extrasensory perceptions and tap into these downloads, or just ancestors or these beings that may be talking to them? How can we tune into that more at this point, would you say?
I say the more you cleanse.
Okay.
You get cleansing and detoxing. And and get a lot of massages, because that way it can stop you having from energy blockages. That's why a lot of people cannot reap the benefits of tapping into their higher mental abilities, because like I said, everything on this planet, from genetically modified foods, from the recreational drugs and liquor, everything is basically subjugated the anatomy of who we are on this planet. So the best way to tap into that energy is to do a lot of fasting and a lot of cleansing.
And you say massage and that, like
get all them energy blockages out. Yeah.
Yaki talks about that with the lymphatic system.
Yeah.
We
definitely got to flush out your lymphatic system, because like I said, fasting, when you break down the prefix of the word Ramadan, Rama means to burn out. So anything that you can't fast from, you're a slave to it. That's why, in order to reap the benefits of getting those receptions from these pantheon of gods, or to where you can get a download from the ethers, the best way to do that is, to cleanse and raise up your vibrational frequency.
Since we're talking about raising our vibrational frequency, you're familiar with grounding, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about grounding and planting your feet, but I know sometimes I would hear stories of people who want to heal themselves. They will bury their whole body in dirt.
Wow.
Yeah. You ever heard of that? And if you have, could you?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Some people, they bury themselves, their whole body in dirt. So I could imagine what that do. You know what I'm saying?
It probably sends an electrical charge to the body. That's what it does. Because I told you, we're bioelectric. The carbonated body is a bioelectric entity. So that's how you could receive more electrons to the body, to where the body can basically transmute itself. Because I told you, it's a light cold transducer. So you absorb everything around you.
Indeed. Now, as far, looking at us as antennas, hold on, let me see if I can pull something up real quick. I wanted to show a certain shape, but I can't see it. Being that we're antennas, we know we move, and technology is an emulation of us, and we move antennas certain ways. is there a certain posture, you know, whether it's a yogic yoga or whatever, that is the most effective in terms of tuning in to that quantum field?
You saying, is there a certain posture to where you?
Yeah, a certain like way you could fix your body, like yoga wise or meditation wise. You know, they got mudras. I forgot what they call and stuff like that. Is it? Have you ever got into that science?
No, I never. No, I never got into yoga and the mudras and things of that nature. I've never tapped into that energy at all.
Yeah,
But I know for a fact that it has the ability to open up portals and vortexes within you. It puts you in alignment with your 7 energy cortexes.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it activates the endocrine system.
What do you think about, I don't want to say the certain word because we know channels got shut down during the last 2 years, but
Mm-hmm.
they was telling us to stay away from people. Do you think there's something spiritual about them not in wanting us within 5? I'm not gonna even say the number, but within 3 feet of people. Is there something spiritual that's going on that's being transferred that we may not be aware of, where they did not want us next to somebody?
Yeah, because they, like I said, they know that as far as like the keys to the universe, especially when you have so-called black people, when you're around each other,
Mhm,
that is a high energy, that's a high frequency and vibration.
mhm.
So when you have us working in symbiotic connection with nature, as the planet is going through a metamorphic shift, we have the ability to open up stargates and portals. That's why, like I said, when they say something is restricted from the public, that's really a translation of saying it's restricted from black people, but they
Mm,
cannot say that.
mm,
They
mm,
know
mm.
if we went there and
Ah,
you bought all those Kemetic drums, African drum beats, you'll be able to open up portals.
that's deep. And you
Yeah.
said when they say, yeah, people are restricted, they really mean black people. Wow, that's deep. That is deep. So as far as the 9 ether beings, um, everybody, one thing Rod Hayes says is all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And we talked about certain non-playable characters that exist down here that are like basically operating from egregors. Talk to me about people who look like non-ether beings, but are not non-ether beings. Can you talk about that? Like maybe they are truly our enemy and they come from somewhere else, but they look like us. Could you go into that?
Well, you have a diametrical difference between the seeds of Enki and the seeds of Enlil. Now,
Mm,
the seeds of Enlil, they are subjugated by everything in the material world, as far as like politics, religion.
mm,
These are the people who are connected to the Freemasonic order, which is a Jewish proxy. But these afflictions of that seed, they are the ones who construct everything. They're the ones who keeping this, this matrix system going.
Well,
We are,
like the boule, like the boule.
yeah,
The,
Boule,
yeah.
people in the music industry, gatekeepers and things of that nature. So those are the people I said as far as like the seeds of Enlil. So all skin folk and kinfolk. So those are the same people from the inception of when they stole our birthright. When you had the Algonquins, when they kicked the dirty Moors out of Spain and they came over here and things of that nature and stole our birthright. So
Mm-hmm.
that's all of those key players, they came from the seeds of Enlil. So that's a delineation. So that's why I tell people all the time, all so-called black people ain't my people.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the ones in politics, especially the ones who is not trying to raise up the vibrational frequency with the truth. These are the ones who's trying to, tell people to, get the what, so they can go to work, so they can go to church, so they
Mm-hmm.
can, be in politics and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. So I think Noble Drew Ali birthday just passed, if I'm not mistaken. I
Mhm.
think so. But
Right.
uh, how important was his teaching? Because you talked about the dirty Moors. How important do you vibe with his teaching? How important was his teaching to you think to our people?
His teaching was the edification that he brought about. I mean, like I said, it teaches his teaching teaches you about the socio-political aspect of civics, and
Mm-hmm.
it goes into a little bit of a theology, but it was basically to bring you out of that concept in itself, because he knew that you had the Jesuit dirty Moors. That's why he was, tapping into many different denominations of the Moorish paradigm.
Mm,
So like I said, he was just trying to find out. He was like the spook who sat by the door. He's the one that was galvanizing all the information to, you know, bring us out of the situation of dogmatic belief systems and things of that nature.
No, indeed. Yeah. Well, once again, family, shout out to everybody tuned in. We got almost 3,000 people in the building. If you came in late, a new brother is on the channel, BDELL, awesome young brother. Tell the people your YouTube channel before we continue, brother.
My YouTube channel is BDELL1014. It's the same title as my name on the screen. That's my Instagram name. And then I'm Bridell Rice Bay on Facebook.
You got a CASHAPP, BDELL, for people who may want to support you financially?
Well, let me say this for first thing. You know, I don't put out the edification for money, so I would never, you know, try to monetize off my people. But I do have a Cash App. It's $ Bridell Rice, BRYDELLRICE. And the reason I say that is because, you know, we've been indoctrinated. We spent thousands and thousands of dollars to be indoctrinated by the, you know, the education system. So it's only right to give people the edification for free.
I got you. I definitely, somebody asked your Cash App earlier, so I definitely want them to support what you're doing. So definitely, if you would like to support the brother, hit the brother's Cash App, $ BRYDELLRICE. And if you got some questions, I'm asking brother a few more questions, but get the questions ready, family. We about to hit the hour mark in a little while. We're going to get to some more questions, family. So definitely give us some questions. What can you tell me about this? You talked about the moon and the dark side of the moon. What's your thoughts on this Lilith energy?
Which is as far as like the Lilith energy, as far as like the divine feminine energy.
Yeah.
What I was saying is when you have a pole shift is basically magnetic north merging with true north. So when that happens, you have the vibrational frequency of the Soma resonance spike. It operates at 13.13 megahertz frequency. So 13 is also esoterically connected to the divine feminine energy, and it's a karmic number. So that Lilith energy is a fourth dimensional energy when you have that open vortex in March 23rd, or it's going to happen in August. So like I said, this is a transmutation process of nature taking back the planet. So this is why you're going to see a lot more floods. This is why everything in California is starting to flood up. So because through the laws of physics, anything that dissipates in nature must come back.
How does this divine feminine energy that you brought up several times affect males, my brother?
Well, it gets rid of this. Because of patriarchy. Patriarchy is what thrown everything out of balance. Because, you know, the inception of everything started with a matrilineal system. So when they came up with these monotheistic belief systems, when they came up with, you know, anything that's conducive to subjugating a woman, that threw the whole planet out of balance, which creates a reversal in the gender role frequency. When you have a reversal in the gender role frequency, now the woman has to take up on the energy of the man, and the man, you know, wants to become the woman, because everything they do as far as like a patriarchal energy, you know, just like the Statue of Liberty, that's a, you know what, that's a really a man. A lot of people don't know that, but they really,
Liberty? The Statue of Liberty, yeah. Could you explain that? You elaborate on that?
Well, the Mona Lisa and the Statue of Liberty, they're basically one and the same. But like I said, it's the everything they do, they steal the birthright from the woman, because the woman, like I said, the inception of everything that started was based on a matriarchy. So like
what? Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was about to ask, because you talked about the Statue of Liberty being a man. Even going back to ancient Kemet, when you see some of the pictures of Akhenaten, and he got like wide hips like a woman, why do you think Akhenaten was portrayed as like a man with woman, with like a figure of a woman?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Yeah, have you noticed that? Have you seen any of the pictures
before? But it's never, you know, sparked anything to my, you know, to me raise a question within myself to, you know, to do a deep dive on that information.
No, definitely. Man, once again, family. Somebody asked, what did somebody just ask? I just seen a good question. Well, let me ask this one. Somebody wants to know, what is the god? Where is this at? What is the god Osiris's role in history related to humans?
Well, the god Osiris's role. Well, I know as far as humans, I know the great majority of Black people, when we're born, we have a Mongolian spike, and I know that Osiris was green. So that's our connection as far as like so-called Black people, because the difference between Black people and chlorophyll is one magnesium particle. So we also have that connection, because when we fell in frequency, this created this process of how we when we breathe in this oxidation, that breaks down the hemoglobin cellular structure, and that hemoglobin cellular structure puts you in a low vibrational frequency to the point where you start to age, and to the point where your genes break down and rust.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was saying, like, our connection on a biological level, that is one of our connections to Osiris.
Indeed. Somebody wants to know, what about the increase of UV rays from the sun and its CME activity?
Well, when you have these coronal mass ejections, these solar flares, like I told you, it's scientifically proven that 7 also activates the neural synapses. So, like I said, the intrinsic solar radiation is gamma radiation, and gamma radiation, when it amalgamates with the carbon body, it creates this energy and frequency of Holy Ghost particles, which are nitroids. So this is where you get your personification of a Christ consciousness.
You said Holy Ghost particles. Say, yeah. What was the Holy Ghost? That sounded interesting. What's the Holy Ghost particles?
Nitroids, pure nitrogen, nitroids, solar radiation, or amalgamating with the carbon body.
What do you think about the word DEA? I heard Yaki and Rashad Jamal reference DEA instead of DNA.
To carbon, DEA. So that's basically the delineation from DNA. Now, anything that has like 6 ether and 7 ether genes, which is recessive genetics, that's the demographic with DNA. When you have carbon coating skin and you have the ether to connect to the energetic imprint of the universe,